Hello and welcome to Divine Horses and Humans. I'm Jason J. Divine. This is Palida, so you are watching the Palida playlist in the round pen. So what are we up to today? What we're up to today is playing about with the tarp, okay? The tarp leads into so many things. Rugs, blankets, saddles, numbers, plastic bags and so much more. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, call to action, is go Google sympathetic nervous system and cortisol and what it does to you and I and horses, right? So I'm just going to rubber with this and I'm going to use this flag to get rid of the flies for her. So I'm going to help her out. I'm going to use the flies to my advantage to get rid of them for her, right? So my dyslexic thinking says to me, horses need to be taught opposed to trained, okay? Because when we use the word training, right, I believe it's more of a physical thing. When you use the word teaching, it changes things in your mind. So if you go about teaching somebody that's dyslexic and you teach them the same way that you teach everybody that's non-neurodiverse, so doesn't suffer with dyslexia, they're not going to learn because they need to learn visually. We are visual learners, so let's talk about visually. So let's talk about dyslexic time. It's 9 o'clock in the AM on the 30th of June 2025. Why? See, there's teaching myself at a time, so I'm showing some vulnerability, right? And secondly, I know that I keep my watch on my left wrist, right? So I know that that's my left hand, okay? Right? Because I get my left and right mixed up because I'm severely dyslexic. Right, so I worked in the British equine industry for over 25,000 hours, that's over 10 years. And I started to see lots of patterns, because that's what dyslexic people are very, very good at, seeing patterns. She keeps moving, I need to wait till she stops moving, stop moving then. And one of the patterns that I kept seeing over and over and over again was everything was done from the left hand side because of this thing called tradition. And if I was to do it from the right hand side, keep going until she stops moving. If I was to come at it from the right hand side, everybody would start losing their minds and their marbles, and you know, then that's when they'd say it was circus tricks. And all I was doing was being an idiot because I was a bit simple, because I would tell people I had dyslexia, because when it came to paperwork and stuff like that, I couldn't do it. So I started thinking about things in a different way. I went and learnt a different method because I'm a groundwork guy. I work on the ground. So if you've got problems with your horse in your saddle, you know, you could come to me and we could work together. This is a crazy idea, obviously. We could work together, me on the ground. You could tell me where you need to, the work needs to be put in. Not problems, it's solutions, right? And then together we could work as a team, the three of us, the horse, me and you, right? I've done it before, funny enough, with a pilot that was dyslexic, and we got great success out of it. So going back to what we're talking about, the tarp, right? So this is a stick, extension of my arm. This is a tarp, this is a corner of a tarp, right? It makes all the right noises, right? It's colour blue, I believe. All the time I've worked in the industry, they've always struggled with this colour. That's why I have a lot of it, because it seems to be a problem in their eyesight. I don't know how they actually see. If you know how they see, drop a comment. But as I said, the call to action is sympathetic nervous system and cortisol in horses and in human beings. So we're going to introduce this tarp. Right, so this tarp has been folded down to the same size as the flag, okay? Right, she's pretty hooked on, so I'm got it in my left hand, right, and it's on her left side. So I'm going to touch her with it, and I'm just going to move away, change sides, go forward, put it into my right hand, and go touch her with it on with her, and then I'm going to plonk it right here in her pathway. Right, so I've just walked past her flanks. She's still put now, she's not really taking any notice of me. So move your flanks. Right, so that's where we would start with any horse. 2 eyes and they're learning, right? Where I start with horses, always sympathetic nervous system, that's how they learn cortisol. So we need to get control of the hind rear quarters. And if they want to move their feet, I'm going to allow them to move their feet. So she is sort of pointing in that direction, right? That is my right. We got it right. So I'm going to push her in that direction. No, she's going to turn into, not going to make her wrong. Not going to make her wrong. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. No, I don't want that. You want to go the other way. And then this argument turns up on the human's behalf, not the horse's behalf, on the human's behalf. I don't want that because the human's gone straight line thinking. Right, where horses don't think in straight lines. That's why, being neurodiverse and dyslexic, I don't think in straight lines, and I'm a visual learner. And this is what, doing it this way, you give the horse a chance to visually learn. So she now wants to come in, so I'm like, that's fine, you can come in. I'm not going to make her wrong. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to increase it a little bit, because what I want her to do is go and look at it the other direction. So she went that way, left eye in, right eye out. So now I want her to go the other direction. I want her to go the other direction. So now we're going to the right. See, we're a little bit faster on this side, right? But I ain't got a problem with it because the calmness will come. So she's just gone through it, fine, right? If she wants to do another lap, I'm not going to make her wrong. But she's got a bit faster. Right, but she did her 2 laps. And she's like, oh, if I do 2 laps, right, I know I can go in. And then you can slowly increase that, right? And then what I do is I'm going to come in here, right hand, to the with her, and I'm just going to play with the flag with her. Use it to adjust her eyes. I could do with her being a little bit calmer, a little bit slower, but I expect a lot, but I reward a little. Now see, as she's stepped into that, so I just stop. Because that's what I want them to understand. Is, oh, if I move into it, if I look at it, it goes away. And you can't do enough of this, especially with a sceptical horse. Cannot do enough of it. So what we do, we're just push the boundary with her, shall we? Right. Be a little bit more straight line. Like, oh, I want more. So we'll open it up. We'll open it up, but I'm not going to leave a gap. And then I'm going to go make myself a bit. My intention's backwards. I'm looking at her feet, and she goes to the left. So I'm not going to make her wrong. And she just walks straight over it. And this is all her choice. This is not me bullying her, because this is the thing, right? This sort of discipline, what they call the foundation, comes out in North America. And it's like 50 odd years old, even older. And it's just like here in the British equine industry, and I've worked in it for 25,000 hours, that's 10 years. Just won't accept it. They think it's circus tricks. And I believe that there's a big hole. I believe that there's a big hole in the British equine industry on the ground. Horses with foundations on the ground, because I was employed to go on, you keep going. No, you keep going. No, I was employed. No, there you go. No, you thought about it. Right, see, because she got that, right, she loses it a bit. So I'm employed to be a glorified labourer, tidy up behind them, clean up, make the place look $1 million, right, and move horses about. So, because they don't get educated on the ground, it gets looked over, and all they really have is long lining and lunging. They're the only tools they really have. You can't increase their dendrites in their brain because you're constantly trying to control them, where they need to start to understand, if I'm with this horse guy, he's not going to lead me into trouble. But if you're a rider that just legs up on there and you ride on contact, you bend them into shape, you nag them with your leg, because that's what all the professionals will tell you and the experts. Trouble's going to turn up because it works on pressure and release, right? So now you've got this whole sort of Monty magic going on. There's no magic about it. Horses are naturally followers. And this is where we have to present ourselves as leaders. Key quality to a leader is empathy. So let's just see, push her over here. And I want them to use their brain. That's what I want. Because when you've got all the gear on them, right? When you've got all the gear on them, you're micromanaging them, right? So you could actually call it mushroom management. Right, she's looking for another question. You could actually call it mushroom management. Right, and what mushroom management is, you keep the horse in the dark, right, because you are micromanaging, and you basically feed them SH1T. And when it goes wrong, you clamp up and become a predator, because you are a predator, make no ifs or buts about that, and they are the ultimate prey animal. Mother Nature's put stuff in there to go, you just stay away from things that you don't understand. And then that's where it's our responsibility as a human to teach them, not train them. Training is going to the gym, running, push-ups, press-ups, that's training, physical training, right? Teaching. Right, because I'm neurodiverse and I'm dyslexic, right? And I went to school in the 70s and the 80s, right? I was classed as an idiot, I was classed as disruptive, I was classed as a problem child. And he's never going to make it. He's never ever going to make it because he won't apply himself. So what do? They punish me. And how do they punish me? With pain. They used to have a cane that was about this long, same sort of length, and they'd whack you around the back of the legs with it and whack you on the arse with it. Right, bent over like that, in front of the old school, they would humiliate you. Doesn't teach. It taught me nothing. All it taught me was how to fight back. And I think horses are very, very forgiving to human beings. Very, very forgiving. But they get to a point where it's like, I've had enough of this, I'm not doing this anymore. See how she gets on? I'm not doing this anymore. Right, let's just try something else here. I'm not doing this anymore, so they either lock up or they blow up. And it seems to be an accepted thing here in the British equine industry, because I've met so many horses that, oh, she's locked up, she's cooked. She blew up. She's aggressive. And I've met a lot of mares that have cooked, locked up, as they want to call it, and they're aggressive. And that's because somewhere along the line a human being has been aggressive towards them. So if we go back to my analogy of being taught at school, all they did was show me aggression. All they did was show me violence. So if we mix that violence to learn to be taught at school, yeah, and violence going on at home as a young child, right, she's starting to follow it, see? Move away from it. Right, she's following it. I'm not going to get after her. Right, so what does that teach me? Violence. That's what it teaches me. It doesn't teach me to read, write and spell, does it? No, it doesn't. Because if I try, it's not good enough. If I get a little bit right, it's not good enough. So what we're going to do, we're just going to keep punishing you all the time. So now I'm just going to stand here, be a bit nonchalant and talk to you. So yeah, we're just going to keep punishing you all the time. And you need to learn discipline. Never knew what discipline was until I was in my 30s. I always thought discipline was violence, because that's how it had always been perceived. Because when right arm onto her, take it away. Right arm onto her, take it away. Sorry, left. Watch sides, left. See, have to think about it. But it does not make me stupid. Makes me different. And that's what you've got to understand about horses. They're different. Just like us, they have different, what I'm going to call, to pinch a word from a clinician, they have different personalities. Like we have different personalities. And we need to remember that. And like as I said, pain seems to be the biggest motivator in the British equine industry with horses. And if they can't use pain, they will use dope. Because that was another common theme that I kept seeing over and over and over and over again. And then along comes this dyslexic idiot that's got no qualifications. He's not even an expert. He's not even a professional, because he's not been around it since the day he was born. He can't read, write and spell, so he's a bit simple. And he gets stuff done, and all they do is punish him. Sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? Because I tell you what it sounds like. How they train horses. These equine professional experts. Because pain is not a motivator. And humans think it is a motivator, because humans very, very, very good at war. SH1T at peace. And we like to blame everybody else for our own problems, because we can't actually look at ourselves and say to ourselves, hold up, am I actually part of this problem, or is this problem all mine? And I can guarantee you, with a horse, the problem is yours. You don't get horses that have problems as horses. You get horses that have problem with a human being or human beings. So it's like me saying to you, like, comment, share, subscribe and all that, run and tell a friend, don't forget to hit the bell icon and notification so you know when we get uploaded and all of that. You know what to do, you're not stupid. You're not, that's why you're here, that's what the whole general thing is. So Why does the rest of the internet constantly tell you that? Because that's the way you've been programmed. That's the program, that's the code you've been taught to comply to. I don't. And this is the code that I'm trying to get horses to understand. I understand what fear is. I understand what it's like to be motivated by punishment. I understand what it's like to be physically abused with violence, beaten upon, hit, because I can't read and write and spell, and then they brand me as a liar. And I tell you something, horses don't lie. There ain't nothing but the truth with horses. And I tell you for why, they don't judge you. If you're fat, thin, black, white, Chinese, whatever, they don't judge you. They just want to know that they can be safe with you and that they can trust you. And if they can't trust you, you've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because it's all about trust. And the other part of it, it's all about patience. And you have to have a ton of patience. So if you're still here and you haven't clicked off or clicked over this, thank you. I'm going to ask you as a call to action, not like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that, because that's what everybody else does. Go Google the sympathetic nervous system and cortisol and what it does to horses and what it does to us. Because that's where we need to start first. We need to start with our own sympathetic nervous system to understand fear, to understand anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and so much more, because it seems to be awfully rife around horses, and people don't quite know how to deal with it. And where you have to learn is your sympathetic nervous system, cortisol, and then the other thing you really need to learn is 3-stage breathing. So we say 3-stage breathing, we'll finish it at that. Thanks for checking us out. Go and check out previous and past content and all that jazz. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next episode.